Hey, hi everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to Wind Down Wednesday with me, Michelle Wedderburn, here in San Miguel de Allende in central Mexico. A whole lot has happened between last week and this week, especially things that affect people who are interested in moving to Mexico. So we'll talk about that a little bit tonight. And hopefully I can give you some guidance on just, how to move forward with your plans or your thoughts on moving abroad. So I just want to say, I hope everyone is having a good week. My week has been really nice. Turning my sound off and all the things. My week has been really good. I can't complain. Very, very busy. Always so much going on. Hi, Khadijah. How are you? Hi, Living Abroad 60. Hola, amigas. I hope you all are having a good Wednesday. If you don't already know, I am Michelle Wedderburn. I am located in... Hi, okay, hey. See, you all have your alias names, so I don't always catch them or remember them. It's good to see you today. But anyway, for those who may be new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video if it was useful to you. If you have been to my channel often, please make sure you subscribe to the information that you get, hit that notification bell, all the things. What do? I provide soft landing experiences. I have a soft landing space in San Miguel. Casa Elm is my guest house here in central Mexico, and we help people who are interested in relocating, whether it's through consultation, virtual consultations, coaching, or if you want to join one of our relocation tours, you can go to Casa Elm, that's casaelm.com, and find out more on our events page. I will still drop the link for the website here. Let's see here, visit for more info. Make sure you subscribe to our weekly e-blast, and there you will get a lot of information every week about what's happening in San Miguel, what's happening at Casa Elm, events, information. We usually send out at least 1 or 2 email blasts per week, and also give you a heads up about what the topic will be on Wind Down Wednesdays. So this is for you. This is what we do. How long have I been here? Almost 7 years. I can't believe it. I said this a few weeks ago that I'm closer to being here for 10 years than 1 or 5 years. It's kind of crazy. So I'm very excited about the life I live. People ask me all the time, how do I still feel about it? And I do really love living in Mexico. And I also preface it by saying it does come with its challenges. It definitely comes with a heap of challenges. However, it's worth it for me. I'm here to share with you my life experiences, my business, what I do, the groups and circles that I get to build with others, the community that I get to build and be a part of. I think it's really special. I was telling someone recently that I really do feel that I'm in my purpose, and that I feel that I finally have found my sweet spot when it comes to doing something that I love and also earning from it. It's really a pleasure to see people realize their new chapters and be a part of those journeys. And for me, that means a lot. I do not take this for granted. I don't feel that, oh, it's no big deal. It is a big deal, and I'm just grateful all the time to kind of see how people can blossom and bloom into their new things, and how much inspiration they gain from coming to San Miguel, being a part of something. Is it for everyone? No, and I'm not here to convince you to leave wherever it is that you are, but I am here to support anyone who wants to move abroad, who wants to be in Mexico, who wants to experience it through Casa Elm. I am here for that 100% or even more. So hi Julie, welcome. Thank you for being here this evening. I have a full house of beautiful women who came on Sunday, and they are wrapping up our half-week relocation tour for March. And I'm very, very thrilled. This week was, it's always special, but this week was extra special because we did a few things differently, and I really enjoyed the outcome of those improvements. We move through this process, but we always try to enhance as we go through the processes to make sure that everyone is getting the most information. So one of the tours that happened yesterday was taking a tour of a private hospital, and it was really amazing. I did it as well. We do have a healthcare presentation, and we talk about insurance and all the things, but having the tour of an actual hospital was really, really informative. So that's something that we are very proud of. And I really personally enjoyed knowing that there's so much more in terms of healthcare that we have access to. And it really enlightened me to enlighten everyone else that, this is something you don't have to worry or be concerned about. I know that a lot of times people focus on how much does insurance cost, and, what kind of provider can I have and get. And I can tell you that this hospital was so well equipped, and it's not the only one. So we got a whole tour from the hospital's administrator, who was bilingual. He might have been more than that, but he spoke English. And then our person who does the insurance part to inform us of all the things. I learned so much myself yesterday. So in saying all of that, we continue to work on improving the process of the relocation tour in general, the whole experience. But in addition to that, we want to continue making sure we stay up to date with information. It's not just about coming in and how inexpensive is it, or what kind of house can I get, what kind of place can I live in, what neighborhood. That's a big part of it, but we also make sure that you are equipped with knowing about the cultural experience that you should be aware of, the traditions here, how to respect them. We have a tour that you do with a local person from San Miguel, generations past, and she is a licensed guide, and she basically fills in so many blanks. She tells you about the etiquette, but she also gives you a lot of history. So I want you all to understand that a lot of thought goes into the relocation experience with us, and the four ladies that are here were just so thrilled. They're still thrilled. They're here enjoying themselves. They got their dinner. We had a wonderful evening yesterday. We went out. They also met with our immigration specialist, who really, informs you about what's what. So in saying all of that, again, we have multiple half-week relocation tours, and it's very applicable to tonight's topic. So that's why I'm kind of emphasizing it. We do still have some spaces open for our April full week tour, and you can see what the difference is between the two by going to the events page at Casa Elm. Okay, I want to say welcome to Alicia, hi, and FDM 215. Welcome. Let us know where you're checking in from if you'd like, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. I'm not going to give you a consultation on the live, but I will try my best to answer general questions and things in regard to, this recent change. If you haven't heard about the regularization program, which was kind of like the easy way into Mexico to get your residency, if you have visited or had visited Mexico prior to 2023 and had a stamp, and you came back and you did the whole FMM and you got an expired tourist visa that you could apply, all the things. Well, that ended last week, Friday. For anyone who may not have heard this yet, please don't come down here, don't fly here to Mexico trying to get your residency through the regularization program if you are not already in Mexico and never left Mexico and you're living in Mexico illegally, okay? So I'll explain better in a moment, but I just wanted to kind of say that that's why I'm emphasizing our tours, and also that the ladies that are here really got a full jam-packed, more than 3 days. So we have the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are the 3 full days, but you arrive on Sunday and in the afternoon or whenever you get here, and then you check out on Thursday. But on Sunday we had a beautiful dinner. I cooked curry shrimp and all my Jamaican things, and I invited other ladies over, other expats that already live here, so that they're able to meet other people from right off the top. And it was just a lovely, beautiful past 4 days spending this time. Again, seeing people feel excited about doing something different or pursuing something and having the support with their thoughts, their ideas, not necessarily having people around them that don't quite understand what they want to do. So that's what we're here for. That's what I do. And I'm very, very grateful, like I said, to be a part of those journeys and to be able to help people who are interested in these programs and interested in moving to Mexico. I got an amazing email today from the woman who does the immigration presentation, and she said, oh, we just thoroughly enjoyed that group of ladies yesterday, and just she really enjoyed talking to them and answering their questions. It's just been really beautiful. So I just wanted to say that. Hi, Shauna. Welcome. Okay, so oh yes, we miss you too. Hopefully you can get back here soon. Fingers crossed. Okay. So before I get deep in, tonight's topic is going to be, is the American dream broken? I should say, it's called the American dream, but we are all in the Americas. I think I said that last week. So is the U.S. dream broken? I guess it all depends, right? It's your perspective. I think that a lot of things are broken and continue to break, as we already know. I don't follow politics heavily, but clearly we are all going to be affected by a lot of the things that are going on, even for us living in other countries. Like, I feel things very unstable in terms of the relationships and things like that. So we'll get into that in a moment. I first want to say thank you to Michelle Watson for being our tea sponsor with Ingenuity. She is officially our sponsor for our teas that come into Casa Elm. She is the only one hanging out on my shelf in the kitchen, and her teas are amazing. So if you haven't heard of her, please make sure you check her out. I will drop her website link here. She also has a book that is all about women's care, and I think it's important for us to take the time to be in tune with things, with our bodies and things like that, whether it's stress, getting more rest. Speaking of rest, I will be leaving on Sunday. Finally, it's here, Black Blossom. I'm super excited to be on this wellness retreat, rest and wellness retreat for Black Blossom with Tracy Collins, who's co-hosting this with me. And we're going to Oaxaca. I am not ready. I am so not ready, meaning I haven't packed. It's going to be one of those toss it in the suitcase. However, because it's in a place where we are really just going to really relax, we have workshops, we will have like a couple events. We're going to have yoga in the morning on the beach. There will definitely be spa treatments and all the things. We're going to have a Black Blossom talk as well with the ladies to talk about just whatever. I think there are a lot of things that women don't really feel comfortable all the time talking about, whether it's their bodies, it could be something to do with, something sexual or whatever, intimate. And I think sometimes we aren't comfortable maybe in our circles to have these conversations. So we want to create, those safe spaces for those conversations to happen during our retreat as well. And just talk about wellness, talk about rest, and hopefully give this experience will be about having us network and connect with each other from even a business standpoint as well, for those who have businesses and continue to work. So I'm very much looking forward to it. I will be ready by the time the bus rolls up to take me to Mexico City. As of right now, I'm just thinking about it, but I'm very excited about that. So next week, Wednesday, I will not be on live, but I will return the following week. You'll still get a notification about that. But yeah, make sure you check out Michelle Watson and her teas, because she also has a book that talks about wellness for women especially, okay? Let's see. I mentioned this, but we do have, I added a lot of additional half-week relocation tours. So if it's something you want to do and you don't want to do the full week, please make sure you go to the events page at Casa Elm and check out what dates might work best for you, and sign up. You can make your deposit, and I think it allows you, it should be it's set up to allow you to make payments, I think until 30 days before the event. So it makes it a little easier. You put your deposit down, and makes it a little bit easier for you to attend. And if you have any questions, you're always welcome to reach out, contact us. Paige will get a message to me. And then we also I'm co-hosting with my friend Anne-Marie from Ball Girl Will Travel. That's going to be happening in November. I think it's November 29th. You can see it at the link. I'm going to drop that in a moment. It's for Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. I believe there are a few spaces still available. Not at Casa Elm. We sold out like immediately, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you all. But it's going to be a fun few days in San Miguel with Katrina, celebrations, and also just honoring our loved ones that have gone on before us on Day of the Dead, which is November the 2nd here. But prior to that, we have really amazing things lined up for us to participate in. I believe there's a trip to the hot springs, and also possibly we're going to also go to a vineyard. The Day of the Dead event will happen here at Casa Elm. We'll have makeup artists. We'll also have a whole area that will be dedicated for our loved ones. And I'm very excited to support that, because I think in the US we're not used to celebrating life or the life of someone who passes away. It's more, sad and things like that. And it's sad here too in Mexico, but they take this time every year to remember those individuals that we love, our ancestors, and to reach out in a way that we feel connected to them, because we're honoring them. We talk about them, we talk about what they love to eat, and we put a picture, maybe there's some foods or a symbol type of food that they may have loved. In my case, I have an area where it's dedicated to my ancestors already, and I have like a little cup of coffee or the coffee grinds for my dad, because he's the one that got me into drinking coffee when I was a kid. I know kids aren't supposed to drink coffee, as they say, but I always begged for coffee and something sweet. So, those memories, I think, should be honored, and I love that Mexico celebrates this. So if you are interested in attending this event, please be sure to sign up for it. You can see what the requirements are for that at this link, okay? ¿Qué más? Let's see here. We're going to get into our topic. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Hi, Dawn. Oh, thank you. Hey, from Lake Chapala. There you go. Awesome. I still need to get over there. I still have some time that was offered to me by the lovely ladies of the Sojourner guest house, Sonia and Savvy. They were here last summer, and I know that they have their beautiful guest house over there as well, the Sojourner House. So Vista Lago, I'm probably butchering this. That's kind of a long name, but if you have time and you're in the area, please make sure you go there and support them and what they're doing as well. I know that they've had a few retreats, artist retreats, and different things that I think are really unique and special. So make sure you check those out, and I will try to remember to get their link and talk about them. Okay, let's get right into it. All right. Last week, Mexico suddenly ended the regularization program. If you've been following me or been interested in moving to Mexico, you probably know about it already. So the regularization program allows, oh, okay, awesome. You saw Savvy this morning. Oh, nice. Hi, Michelle, Mabel. I'm not going to sing the song because people do that to me all the time. Anyway, the regularization program previously allowed for quite a few years now, I think since 2022, and we're now in 2025, so about 3 years, they were allowing individuals who had a tourist visa. When it expired, immediately the following day, you were able to apply for a 4-year residency in Mexico, temporary residency, to live in Mexico without showing financials, without qualifying the traditional way, right? So the traditional way is you live wherever it is that you are. Typically you're someone in the United States if you're watching this channel, or maybe someone in Canada, and you would go to a Mexican consulate with all the requirements that they ask you. Typically it's all financial based, because they want to know that you can support yourself if you move to Mexico, and you're not going to be a burden on the Mexican system in any way. And they want people to come in who can afford to pay to live here and pour into their economy. So they're really trying to, scrape the top layer of people who have financial solvency. And before this program came up, this is what you had to do. You had to show your your financials, your pay stubs, your investments, whichever one. You don't have to do both, but you have to do one or the other. And that's the way that I did it. We had to qualify to come here, and this was quite a few years ago, and the amount to qualify per month was way lower than it is right now. Every year it goes up. So that's why I'm here to tell you, if this is something you want to do, no, you don't have to wait until you're ready to actually make the full move. You can apply. You just need to make sure you give yourself time, and you need to make sure you make that appointment. You need to make sure you follow the exact instructions that that consulate gives you, because they're all a little different. And don't get lost in the Facebook buzz and the Facebook conversations, because there's a lot of misinformation on Facebook, okay? People mean well, typically, but there's a lot of misinformation there. So you really should seek help. you really should get a person that can guide you. When I say that, yes, of course, I would love for you to do a consultation with me, but if you want to do the homework and the research yourself, that's fine. You can find it. You just need to do some digging, and you need to find the right person that you can connect with in maybe the city that you want to apply in the second part, which is after you are approved, right? So for example, if you're in, let's say, Vegas in the US and you got approved there, and you decide, oh, I don't want to go to San Miguel, I would rather go to Mexico City, then you need to find someone, or you should find someone in Mexico City that can help you. There are plenty of folks that can help you with your paperwork and your application. So to get back to the traditional way is to go to a consulate that's close to wherever your hometown is. You know, there's not one in every state in the US, but there are quite a few. For example, Florida has two. You can go to Orlando or you can go to Miami. If you want to do it in Vegas, you can go to Vegas, all right? All of them don't necessarily accept people applying, meaning all the Mexican consulates. I know that several of my clients were living in Washington state, and they ended up going to a different consulate in a different state to do their paperwork. So you have to do a little work, you have to do a little research, and that's why it's always good to get a little help so you're not frustrated and overwhelmed, because it does take being tenacious, okay? I'm just gonna give you that. So as of now, this is how it works. It's back to the traditional way. You contact them, you tell them, you know, hey, I'm interested in moving to Mexico. What are the requirements for me to get a residency in Mexico, whether it's temporary or permanente? Can you please provide me with your, and I say that, specific consulate's requirements, so that when you show up and when they give you your appointment, that you have everything you need with you. They will give you a very concise list of what they're looking for from you for you to qualify. And if you don't have all those things, you could be denied. You may have to return, you may have to come back and, you know, back to the drawing board, or maybe they'll allow you to leave what you have and say, okay, we still need A, B, C. Sometimes they'll ask you for even some extra things, but what you want to do is you want to make sure that you follow their instructions as closely to the T as possible, okay? It's super important that you do ask them for those things. And yes, Michelle, that's another thing. That's a good thing to point out. Does not require that you live in the area, but some of them do. Some places do. I know that McAllen, Texas didn't require people to live in the area, and they also had the lowest income requirement. And now I think that changed about a year ago. They want people who live in Texas to apply at that particular location. So it all just depends. Okay, that's good to know that they're extremely efficient. Okay, perfect. Yeah, please share the website if you have it, or if you all want to look up their website and their information, just type in DC Mexican Consulate, okay? And then it'll kind of tell you what you need to get an appointment. If you're not in that area and you want to fly to DC, you can get an appointment with them. I say do it. You know, I was willing, when I was applying for mine, I was willing to fly to Laredo, Texas, because that's where everyone kept telling me, oh, you got to go to Laredo, it's easy, la, 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 la. And I remember someone else I knew said, why would you go all the way to Laredo when you're in Florida and there's one in Miami? And I said, oh, because I heard it was difficult. And they were like, well, at least try. And this is why I say kill the noise, you know, the hearsay noise, and make sure you make an effort to try where you are first, the closest place to you first. And if it doesn't work, you can go to a different place, okay? And I'll tell you that this is something you can do as of right now. I'm gonna say everything is as of right now, as of today, March 19th, okay, 2025. Because I've had clients who went, for example, I had a client last year who went to Vegas, and she flew from Washington State. She went to Vegas because Washington State was not accepting, I guess that office wasn't accepting applications for temporary residence or permanent residency in Mexico. So she went to Vegas, and when she got there, they didn't even care that she financially qualified. The lady asked her, "Hey, have you ever been to Mexico before?" And she said, "No, I haven't, but I'm going next week or whenever I'm going, I'm on my way." And she didn't want to see anything else. She said, "Well, you need to go to Mexico, and when you come back, then you can apply or apply again." So this is not normal. That is not something that has happened to my previous clients, previous to her. But again, it happened, right? So I'm saying this because you don't have to necessarily always live in the place where the consulate is, but you want to make sure that they are accepting residents or people that live out of state. Okay, so that's a question to ask. Hey, Angel. Awesome, welcome. Watching from Dallas. Yes, we're excited too, very excited. I owe you some info, I haven't forgotten about you. So, yeah, you know, there's so much to know, and it sometimes can seem very overwhelming. Don't let it overwhelm you. Think about it as like, you know, eating, I'm gonna say an apple, right? Because you can't just eat the whole apple, right? You have to take a piece, you gotta chew on it, swallow that, bite another piece, chew on it, swallow that. So it's the same thing. There's a lot to know, but it's like start at the top, right? Or start at the basic thing, which is, I want my residency. What do I have to do? Where do I have to go? Okay? So this is important for you to just like do it in chunks. Don't worry so much. Like, coming for the relocation tour, it's a lot of information, but it's a connection to all the resources. And then you go home and you say, okay, how does this apply to my life, my journey, my situation? Am I still working? Am I ready to go? Am I retired? Can I get my residency and come back in 1 year, 2 years? There are plenty of people who do this, and you know what? You can. So a lot of people don't know that. I didn't even know that I could have gotten residency years ago and I didn't have to live full-time in Mexico. I didn't know that. I've been traveling in and out of Mexico for so long. I had no idea until I started doing the relocation tours, and I sat in with the immigration specialist and I learned this. Okay, I've had someone recently ask me this, actually this week. Hey, can I start my process even though I'm not ready? And I said, absolutely, get started. Okay, so the point of saying all of that is to get started. If you think you want to do it, you think you want to move, even if you're not sure, it's no harm like done in this moment, right? Meaning, if you can get it, make sure you have enough time to come here to complete the full circle process, and then you go back and you start making your plans. Okay, like I have a client, she just said, okay, I know what I'm doing when I go home. I've decided I'm gonna do A, B, C. And being here helped her kind of solidify, but the first thing she said was, I got to do my residency. I said, absolutely, that's the first thing you need to do, right? So it's a start, it's a getting going, it's a getting the information, how does it apply to my life? And so saying all of that, you know, it's surrounding the whole, is the American dream broken, or the United States dream broken? It depends on you. Personally, I really never felt that I wanted or belonged in the US. I don't know how to explain that. If I had to do my whole childhood life over, I would have been living in a whole different place, right? I always fantasized growing up where I was born in Canada. I can't say I fantasized living in Jamaica because my parents did not introduce enough of their Jamaican culture outside of food and different, like, the accent and things. But as I got older, yes, I gravitated more towards that. Even making this trip a few months ago kind of made me realize like how much I missed and how much I'm like, okay, I feel displaced at times, I've I picked Mexico as my home, but living in Mexico and feeling received here has been amazing. I really feel like it's my home. However, there's still the struggle of the language and knowing the culture and still, like where exactly do I fit in the grand scheme of things. So in saying all of that, I'm also grateful for the opportunities that were afforded to me overall in growing up in the United States, as opposed to maybe being a full, born and bred Jamaican. Clearly, it has its own struggles as a country goes. However, I never felt that that was my place. I was always fascinated with other things in other countries and other places. So in saying that, I feel that this bill of goods that we have been sold, that this is, the grand, poobah oasis, like there's no other place in the world to be. And as I traveled, I was more enlightened through life, that there are plenty of places that are way nicer, way better, way more structured in a way that allows you to prosper, as opposed to just working, trying to buy things, and all the consumerism and all the types of things that kind of trap us, the credit card problems and all the things, debt, borrowing. I remember having such a hard time. This was years ago when I initially went to Europe, and I was in Switzerland, and I had such a hard time wrapping my head around how they were allowed to buy homes. And I kept saying, how's that possible for someone to purchase a home here when you have to put down X amount? And it was just one of those things where I didn't understand how much we are trapped into debt and financial, burdens, that it keeps you in the mill. And I'm talking about the majority of the individuals that I was around. I worked in a corporate job, and we were all working 9 to 5, 9 to 6, 9 to 7, whatever, Monday through, Friday, even sometimes on the weekends. And just having like this mindset of climbing a corporate ladder in order to, make X amount of money, or whatever the case might be. Again, nothing wrong with those things if that's what you do. I'm not knocking it, but I remember just kind of always feeling like, at one point, I remember thinking, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to work for anyone. I don't care about your product or your service. It's like I didn't feel that it matched who I was as a person. So I started realizing, like, okay, you make this money and then you get more things. And, we've all talked about that. And right now we're living in a time where the cost of living is just getting worse. Things are so expensive. Food is expensive. I know in the US that I hear this a lot, things have gone up. It's skyrocketed. Inflation, all the things, people paying absorbent rent for little tiny, shoe boxes. And even if you make a lot of money in a city, it's like you're still shelling it out. So it all kind of still comes out in the same ratio, right? So it just kind of feels like constant, you're in a constant burnout path that you can't always get off of, right? Unless you think outside of what's happening or what your normal day-to-day thing is. So for me, I feel like that's a broken thing. For me, I feel like I don't want to live this way. Don't get me wrong, I work very hard here. I really do. And I also sometimes think like, okay, I also don't want to burn out here either. I think it's a little bit different because it's my thing and I enjoy what I do and it's not for someone else. But I think overall, we still have to make these conscious efforts on how we choose to spend our time, because that's the only thing that I feel, well, not the only thing, but it's one of the top things we just can't get back, okay? Our money might go up and down and dip and go left and right and all the things, but I think money comes and goes, right? It comes, it goes. Time goes, right? It doesn't keep coming, it just goes. It goes every day. We're older, we're closer to whatever, we're getting closer, we're walking in that direction, and where one day we're not gonna be here. And I think it's important for us to make decisions and choices, especially in this day and age with so many things that are happening that really fulfill us, right? There's so much going on right now in terms of the political climate. And I think it's really important for us to understand, like, what's happening in front of me. Now, I wanted to kind of finish commenting on the change with the visa, because honestly, there were no issues before, and now I think because of what was going on between the two countries and what continues to go on between the two countries, that Mexico is probably suddenly seeing an influx of people. Because I remember Ian Clement posted a video about 2 weeks ago, and I also posted it on one of my groups, telling people how easy it would be for them to basically go to Tijuana, do this, do that, walk over the border, and you can get your temporary. Can't do that, right? So there goes the deterioration already, people wanting to leave. And I think a lot of people are wanting to leave because they don't want to deal with the political climate, and the relationships are really breaking down. How they will affect us overall, we just don't know. But I think we have to brace ourselves and be ready. So that's a big part of, like the whole thing that I'm saying in terms of the American dream, and people, working to say, well, I'm going to work and I'm going to retire and I'm going to do whatever, right? There are so many questions right now about, are we going to get Social Security? Are we going to have medical coverage? I don't know. I don't have answers to those questions, but I do think that it's important for us to think about what's going to happen in the next couple of years, right? There's such a division right now that's happening, and we see it. And I'm not here to talk about politics per se. I'm only referring to, how the stability that I think we are accustomed to in some way is, in my opinion, a lot of things are going to change and be possibly taken away. And so it's so volatile in the moment. I think it's important for us to kind of consider again, is this where I'm going to stay? Is this where I'm going to leave my money and my life? And this is what I'm going to do. And if you think the answer is no, start thinking about, how do I move out of this, right? Take advantage of what's available to you right now. Again, if you're just staying where you are, you don't need to be on this channel probably watching what I'm talking about, right? But if you're interested in leaving, I think it's time to consider, how do you do it? How do you do it the right way so you're living legally in this country or any other country you might want to go to? How do you make those decisions? Personally, I think it's important for you to go visit a place, because, what you see on a video and what I talk about is my perspective, and what other people talk about, that's their perspective. Trust me, I love living here. This is no fantasy. I'm not making stuff up. I'm not exaggerating. I do. However, someone else may say, I really don't like that. I really don't care for this. I don't really care for that. I have one of my guests who said, I really want to try Mexico City on for a moment, for a while. And I'm like, go for it. There are choices and options here. And I love that for everyone. I think of, whoever's checking in from Lake Chapala, it's very different. Guadalajara is different. Mexico City is different. San Miguel is different. Querétaro is different. All of these cities and places are different. So you have a choice. You can go to the beach, go to Merida. You can go to Cancun if you want, that vibe. Playa del Carmen, Puerto Vallarta. There are so many choices. You can go to Monterrey, which is close to Cali. You can go to Baja California, which is on the Pacific side. There's so many choices for you. I think what you have to do is explore what those choices are, right? And in regard to, as I said, the whole dream being broken, it's like it's happening, right? It's happening. It's in front of our faces. Again, I'm not following politics that much, but I mean, everything I look at, something pops up about whatever the nonsense is. I see a lot of kind of seemingly like tit for tat post with, our president here in Mexico and president in the US. And I don't know if it's factual or it's just, something that people want to get likes on or start an argument or a discussion of whatever sort. But it does mean something. And I think it's important for us to take those things seriously. Like if you feel a sense of urgency, you probably need to listen to your intuition, okay? I felt the sense of urgency for different reasons. It wasn't so much political, even though that was a huge part of it as well. For me, it was more concern about violence and just, I saw things kind of deteriorating. I didn't like that nothing was being done about gun violence in schools and things like this. And I have a child, and I was just like, okay, this isn't for me. Plus, I want more for my kid. So I think you have to think about what your situation is, and you need to make decisions that work for you. And I tell people this all the time. Please think about what it is that you want and how you want to proceed. And if you think you're going to move and you're going to proceed forward, the sooner the better. If you have, a high income, monthly income, honestly, you're probably going to be fine. You're going to qualify. But if you're at the threshold, don't wait, right? If you're already at the threshold of what they're requiring us to meet financially, do not wait, because it just keeps going up. And honestly, I say this so many times, the only thing consistent in Mexico is that it is inconsistent, okay? The only thing consistent about Mexico is that it is inconsistent. Trust me on this, okay? Things change, information changes at the drop of a dime, and a lot of times people don't even understand what changed, and that's their job, and you name it, okay? Like tomorrow I'm going to renew my passport, and I got a notification, and I'm just like, it's a bit different. And I'm like, let's see if I get it. Not really worried about it, but this wasn't the process that I went through for my son a few years ago. So let's see. I don't think it's an issue, but it's definitely a little bit different, and I don't know why, right? So I'm just saying it like we see things happening around us. That is a sign that something grand, bigger than us, and maybe things that we know to be, will be different in the near future. So I think it's important for you to watch what's happening around, keep an eye on it, see how it affects your life, and make decisions based on that, for sure, okay? Hi, Sonia. Welcome. Hi, Daphne. How are you? Buenas noches. Angel, I see you. Will you join us? Hi, Jessica. How are you? Okay, that was not a question for me. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Okay, what else? Okay, so another thing. Hold on, I'm trying to get to my notes, which are acting up right now. It's always something kind of glitchy going on. I call Micah my tech support. I told him I was going to give him a IT t-shirt because he's always helping me and the ladies with stuff around. So one of the things that, again, regarding, the American dream being broken is people want to leave, they want to move. There are some countries that are making it easy and some are making it a little bit more difficult. I do think, again, that the relationships are going to continue deteriorating, and it's definitely going to get a little harder probably to get residency. It's already harder to get residency in Mexico. Honestly, I don't even know why they had this regularization program for everyone who had a previous tourist stamp in their passport. It really didn't make any sense to me. I remember interviewing or talking with an immigration attorney that I used for my permanente, and he said that it didn't make sense to him either. He said the reason why they did it was to help people who got stuck here during COVID to become residents, making it easy for them to become a resident of Mexico. But they didn't create a good guideline for it. So people who were just kind of like, oh, all right, I was in Mexico in, let's say, 2021, and I left, I got stuck for a few months, but I moved back to the US, and I've been back to Mexico once or twice, and I have the stamps in my passport, and now this program allows me to come in, so if I get 10 days in Mexico and I stay till the 11th day, then now I can apply for my four-year temporary because I meet the requirements and I don't have to show financials and whatever. And then all of these people started doing that, and then they would get their residency and then they would leave and go back to the US. And I think because of the influx in these past couple of weeks since, whatever number he is, took over in January, they were just like, literally from Wednesday of last week to Friday, we're no longer allowing this process. And I saw so many people commenting online that they were here for that, they already had an appointment, they weren't honoring their appointments, or they had tickets that they bought to come down in the next month or two to do whatever. So people really were losing out and lost money. I even advised someone that I know to sign up and do this program as well. And they were like, oh, I'm going to do it in April. I know individuals here that have been coming in and out of Mexico. They were like, oh, I was planning on doing it next month. And, I was like, why didn't you do it sooner? Not everyone has, I get it, the means to do the program maybe in the moment. And now it's just not available anymore. So I will preface that it is available again, because I said this at the beginning, that it is available to individuals who have overstayed their tourist visa. They are currently living in Mexico. They have never left Mexico for the last few years since their visa expired. Okay, so if you came in 2022 and you came, let's say 2021 or 2020 when COVID was rampant, and you got stuck here and you never left and you have that visa and it expired and you're still living here, you can go and apply. So that's a very small number of folks now, okay? So all the other people doing the things, you can't do it anymore, okay? So that's one of the things that has become more complicated, and it is part of the reason why people are trying to leave the US, because they're like, oh, I don't want to be here because all these crazy things are happening. I want to go live in Mexico. Well, you still have the traditional way of doing it. To me, it's still getting harder. Okay, that's my number 3, the top 3. reasons. It's still getting harder because it costs more. I think that Mexico is not going to be as welcoming, especially maybe to US citizens. I'm not saying they aren't. I can't say the people are going to be like, oh, we don't want you here, whatever. It's going to just be more things I think that will be required. I feel like the consulates are becoming more complicated. I hear a lot of little things that people tell me, the consulates are asking for. For example, they want, original bank statements printed out on letterhead paper, not the printed copies from your statements. And they are checking, employment status. They're also asking for things like if you're a digital nomad, that your job is telling them it's okay for you to work elsewhere. There are several people I know that don't want their job to know anything. They're like, if I have to, but they really don't want it that way. They want to move in silence, and they want to get their paperwork, and then they want to make their decisions. So it is going to become, I think, a little more difficult, and I do think the requirements will continue to increase. I don't know what the exact number is in every place, but right now, I believe the monthly income in, I'm going to say New York, is like 4,300 US dollars that you need to earn every month. And it needs to be a check stub, a deposit, or something that shows that this is what you're making, okay? So it's important for you to understand that if this is something you want to pursue, you need to probably should get on it, okay? I'm gonna see what's happening. Hi, thank you, Jessica. Hi, Sonia. The viral is a person meetup. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. Oh, it is an in-person meetup. I'm doing a relocation tour. So if you want to, okay, I'll just drop it here. I've been doing relocation tours, just in case you missed that at the beginning. I usually say it at the beginning. You can check it out here. Okay. So there are several tours, several dates, and the details are on there for the dates and what we do, what we cover. I currently have 4 women here that we are wrapping up our half-week relocation tour for this month, and it was amazing. It's been amazing. They're actually enjoying some of Chef Jackie's yummy Southern fried chicken, and I don't know what else came in the pack. Oh, you're welcome. Let's see, what else? North Carolina's just changed. All bank statements must be signed and sealed, wow, by the banker. We don't accept copies and attach the banker teller business card. Huh. Yeah, definitely join. I think I have 1 or 2 spaces left for April if you're interested. And then there are others as well that are happening throughout the year. Lots of information. As I was saying earlier, we have, info. You basically are meeting with experts for each area: real estate, neighborhood tours, healthcare. I was saying earlier, we did an amazing hospital tour yesterday. I was impressed. Okay, and I've been to the hospitals here, and I really enjoyed this tour. It was given by the hospital administrator. Very knowledgeable. They cover so many areas in terms of health, emergency, care, whatever it was. It was a private hospital, but it was wonderful. I absolutely enjoyed it. We, of course, talk about health, insurance and things like that, but the tour was amazing. I really, really enjoyed that a lot. Of course, the immigration aspect, and the ladies went today on one of the ladies like, oh my God, I found my house. I found my dream house. I said, for real? And she said, yeah, I don't know if it'll still be here when I get back, but people get inspired. It's inspiring to kind of be here, to feel like you're already kind of living in this in the city, living the life, meeting and connecting with people, expats, and also not just, getting the information, but being able to be in their own group, right? They've been hanging out like this, and I love it. Yesterday we hung out all day, went to a nice dinner. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, you can see some of the videos there, but I'm Casa Elm on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and also my website, okay? CasaELM.com, all right? So you can find what's happening there when you have time. So let's get back to the next reasons. Like I said, it's getting more complicated to move here. I think this is a plus. This is a huge plus. Because of the day and age we live in, a lot of companies and jobs are actually allowing people to work abroad, to work online, to be a digital nomad. So if you are one of those people and you want to leave, I would try to figure out how you can negotiate with your job and figure out, okay, you know what, I really don't want to live. I have several clients who have done this. I don't want to live in the US, and I'm still younger and I have a great job. I have one that's been here for about 6 months, and she came, she's super on it. Absolutely love her. And she works online, and she was like super excited because she's like, I'm going to get a promotion. And her job allowed her to move to Mexico. She's living in San Miguel. And so we're getting kind of a younger demographic of women as well. I say women and men, but mostly women that are coming, and they're not at a retired age. And therefore they are like, okay, you know what? I can live here. I can really afford to live here, live well, have a better quality of life, and save my money so I can have this for the future, right? Because again, we don't know what the future is going to hold for us in terms of Social Security and all the things. So I think that that's something for the working, group to consider if you are able to, move, because cost of living is absorbent in wherever it is that you are. I remember several people complaining to me in the recent years about how expensive it was to live in Austin, Texas, for example. And I was like, oh, years ago I went to Austin and I loved it. It was really beautiful, college town. And I was like, oh, I would have preferred to live in Austin over Dallas. And even though Dallas, I thought, was a great place to live in terms of quality of living, because you got a lot more for your income. They paid pretty well in the corporate jobs in Dallas. And then the housing wasn't expensive. We were able to buy a beautiful townhouse, and it wasn't outrageous, and we were living in the heart of things. But I know that's changed, same with Austin. And someone was saying, oh, it's even almost as expensive as living in like the West Coast and places like this. And, I just think, why would you work even, one whole year and have to give up so much of your income just to pay bills, right? If you can leave, like, I know I would be out, like completely, even if I were just trying something else. So, this is again another example of why I personally think, yes, you get the education and you have all the debt, or maybe someone sponsored you, I don't know, and then you get the good paying job, but then you want to live in a place where, or you end up living in a place where it's super duper expensive to live, to rent, or whatever. And yes, if you can afford it, that's fine too, but it's like, it just seems to me like, it just seems wasteful somehow. I don't know how to explain that. It just feels like you're not being wise because you're making it today, but you could be growing and using it in a better way for the future, for your future, especially if you have years of work ahead of you, and if you're able to digital nomad in another place where cost of living is way less, you can hire people to come in and clean, take care of your house, go grocery shopping, and I'm not just making stuff up. This is what happens in my life, help me with this, take my kid to school. I can focus on this, I can expand, I can do A, B, C, I can hire someone to do A, B, C, D. I wish I had done this 20 years ago, okay? And I mean that. So, yeah, let me get to your questions. If you have been online banking, if you want to. Yeah, South Carolina doesn't have one. Yes, I think there's one in North Carolina, I believe, right? A consulate. Someone can chime in on that. I'm pretty sure there is. So beautiful to hear the story. I didn't reply to a comment, but 2 years I got back. Well, I hope you find a job, Sonia. I hope I'm saying Sonja. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. You lived in Dallas. Dallas pays more, but those cities, yeah, they are expensive now. I lived in Dallas way back in the early 2000s, and it was good living. It was good living. I remember I loved the restaurants. The food was good. I loved a market. I think it was called Central Market that they built not too far from where we were. I loved going to the Angelica theaters for independent films. It was just a cool city to live in. I didn't love it culturally, but I thought that the quality of life was pretty good compared to like New England and New York, where it was already expensive. Connecticut is kind of pricey too, and that's where I grew up. So yeah, I haven't been in these cities for a long time. It's just the things that I hear from other people. So I feel like the last point I want to make is that if you want to leave is, waiting is not really an option in regard to the residency aspect. And also because the relationships are changing so rapidly. I mean, it's only March, right? This new administration has been in for 2 months. Tomorrow, right, makes 2 months. And there have been so many changes and people's heads are spinning on swivels and jobs lost and all these crazy things that are happening. And so don't sit back and wait for it to happen to you. If you think, I'm retired, close to retired, or I can work abroad with whatever, or I would like to, I hope for those looking that you find your speed. Maybe it's scary to start a business. I get that, especially if it's a brick and mortar. I totally understand that. I've been in those shoes. I still walk in those shoes. It's not easy to just say, I'm just going to go open a business in Mexico and then we'll see what happens. No, it's not. But if you need help, you have a plan and you need encouragement and you want to know hey, what does our community here in San Miguel need? I'm happy to fill in those blanks and let you know. There's a lot that can be done. I think that there are a lot of folks that have come and that are doing, and they're doing really well at it. It's work from so many angles. There's so much to understand, but it's definitely doable. And it's also, to me, it's also very doable when you can network and support each other. Okay, so consider that as well. Think about Stephanie and Rashida, their story, I love their story because they always say, we met online, we were on some conference or some online thing, and they met and they clicked and they started talking about their ideas. And then now their whole business, their whole movement, and we're a part of that movement. I'm a part of that movement. I pretty much moved here like around the same time that they started Exodus Summit, maybe a year prior. But I love that the support exists, right? And being able to partner with other people, understanding you have to put the work in and you have to make sure that you all click You know, that sometimes can be a little tricky. It could be good in the beginning, and then maybe in the middle it's like, you know, and things don't always work out, but don't quit on it. Don't give up. Keep pushing through, and whatever your idea, your dreams, or whatever it might be, continue to pursue that. But I do think that there is opportunity to grow into other things and spaces as well. So I think if you definitely plan on doing it, don't wait. Get your residency. I think that's probably the biggest thing. If you feel the dream is broken for you, living where you are, you're afraid of what might happen, you're afraid of losing, you know, I don't know, your future income for Social Security, maybe some of your benefits, whatever the case might be, start thinking about ways to combat that. You know, again, there's no easy answers to everything. I'm not trivializing any of it. I'm just saying make a plan. You know, for myself, for example, I live here. I know that I don't want to move back to the US. So what is my plan for the future in terms of care? You know, as I get older, assisted living, I'm already thinking about that. Because it's not super far away, you know? So I think that's important for us to kind of start thinking about these things and how they affect our lives and how can we combat it and set up a plan that works for us in the long run, okay? So that's what I wanted to say. Let's see. Definitely consider, as I said, the changes that are happening with immigration, the relationship with the US and Mexico. Yeah, just keep that in mind, okay? It's for real. There's a consulate in Raleigh, North Carolina. Yep, that's what's gonna happen. Things will become more and more restrictive, I believe. However, there are still a lot of open doors. There are still people out here helping, myself included, you know, Stephanie and Rashida, the people that are here in San Miguel that I work with. They're working hard. You know, my immigration person she's like, oh my God, Michelle, like, influx has been crazy. A few other of the consultants here, influx has been insane, okay? So the point is that that's still open to you. So if you have to do it the traditional way, just forget that even the regularization program even existed, okay? Because that was special. We told you, we talked about it, and now it's no longer available to the general public. So that's all I have for you tonight. Don't forget to please hit the like button right now. Click, and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. I'm gonna go and say something to my guest, see how they're doing. I hear them chatting in the kitchen. That's the place that we gather. I love it. And just, yeah, you know, I hope that it doesn't scare you. I hope it encourages you and motivates you to make that move in the direction that you want to be in, and just, you know, start looking at it. Don't be overwhelmed by the things. And again, remember, we have relocation tours, full, half week. You want a consultation. The consultation is also a great way to start to kind of get you going. If you can't physically come to San Miguel, that's okay. You can do that. It's definitely more cost effective, and it's also chock full of information to get you started. And then you can also go it alone. You can also go and find a lot of information online and join groups to see what people are talking about. There's a lot out there, so don't feel lost. Just remember to start somewhere, and don't just sit and look at everyone else doing it and then think, oh, okay, I wish. No, just do it. Go do it, okay? I'm about just to go do it, girl. All right, so I will see you all in 2 weeks. Again, I'm going to be with Tracy Collins and our Black Blossom Rest and Wellness Retreat next week. I'm leaving on Sunday, so I'm very excited about that. So you can check in on Casa Elm Instagram and maybe Casa Elm on Facebook. I don't know if I'm going to overpost. I really haven't even done that much on my trip to Jamaica. I'm sorry, I just haven't had time. And editing and trying to pull all this stuff. I have so many short videos that I did about wherever I was, it would have to be just raw footage. And I just feel like they're not really going to know what I'm talking about if I just post it. So maybe one of these days I'll get to it, but I'll definitely share a bit of our retreat from the beach. And so stay tuned with that. We will have more things happening throughout the year as well, but I wish you all a great night. And please continue pursuing your dreams to move abroad if that's what you want to do. Do not let people in your circle throw you off and create shadows. If you need to protect your peace, protect your plans, do that, okay? Talk to the people who are willing to support your ideas, or get in these groups online where people are supportive because they're like-minded and helps you stay on the track and not scare you into, oh, well, what am I doing? No, there are so many thousands and thousands of us that are doing this, and you can do it too, okay? Have a great night, everyone. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you all, and I will see you in 2 weeks. All right, have a good Wednesday. Ciao.